Hello and welcome, crafty friends. This is Rachel, Crafting Mama Bear. Today's video, I'm really excited to show you how I made this DIY Christmas card holder using items from Dollar Tree and Walmart. So for this project, you are going to need some ribbon. I picked up these really pretty mini poinsettias from Walmart for 97 cents. I'll be using some of the Waverly chalk paint in white, some of these mini jingle bells, some wrapping paper from my stash, some clothespins, and a pizza pan from Dollar Tree. For tools, I'll be using my hot glue gun, a pair of scissors, and a pin. So to start off, you're going to take out your wrapping paper. This is Dollar Tree wrapping paper that I wrapped some of my daughter's gifts in this year, so I'm incorporating that into this project. Make this work for whatever you're doing. So I'm just tracing the outside of the pizza pan, and I do have it flipped upside down. And then you're going to cut that out. Once it's cut out, you're going to use your hot glue gun and just glue it on to the rim of the pizza pan. This was a lot easier than trying to get it to fit inside. So just do it this way, it's a lot easier. So I love this idea. I've been looking for a way to display my holiday cards. I am a card maker. It's one of my passions. I really love sending, making, and receiving cards. Unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people send Christmas cards anymore. It's kind of a dying art. I receive less and less every year. So this was a way that I wanted to be able to display them. I found that Greetings of the Season, that was a card that I received last year, and I just cut off the front of it and glued it onto the front of my wrapping paper. The next thing I'm going to do is take my chalk paint and I'm going to paint my clothespins. I left this portion in just so I could talk a little bit. You don't necessarily need to see me painting. There's no technique, I just painted the entire thing. So part of why I wanted to do this is to hopefully inspire or motivate people to send out Christmas cards. I thought this would be a really wonderful project to have your kids or grandkids help you with. It's something that you can change out every year. You can change out the wrapping paper, and you can change out the little embellishments that you're going to put on the clothespins. And then every year, your kids or grandkids can make their new display, and that might get them excited to help you send out Christmas cards or to be receiving them. And then you could hang it on their door, and every time they get a Christmas card, they could display it. So I'm using 14 clothespins. And to decorate my clothespins, I'll be using some of these mini poinsettias. When you pull them off of the stems, it has this little piece of plastic poking up at the end, and I want this to sit onto my clothespin as flat as possible, so I just use my wire cutters and snip that off. And I'm going to add a generous daub of glue right there where the metal piece goes into the wooden piece of the clothespin. Gluing this does not affect the ability for the clothespin to open and close, but just keep that in mind. So I laid out clothespins on the pizza pan to see how many I wanted to use, and 14 fit on there pretty comfortably. So for 7 I'm putting the poinsettias, and for the other 7 I'm using the jingle bells, and I'll be adding 3 jingle bells onto these. Again, I put a daub, a blob, whatever you want to call it, some hot glue in the middle section to put the one jingle bell, and this just ensures that I'm getting it put on there evenly. So my jingle bells are pretty evenly spaced out on all of my clothespins. And this project was super cheap. Because everything that I used, I still had leftovers of, except for the pizza pan and the flowers. Oh, and I decided to add some garland to this. So this is one of the Dollar Tree 15-foot garland. I measured it out, the circumference of the pan, cut 2 pieces, and then twisted the 2 pieces together so it looked a little bit more full. And now I'm just going to hot glue that to the outside of the pan. So like I was saying, it was a really cheap project. So the only things that I used fully were, of course, the pizza pan and then the bouquet of florals. I still have a ton of wrapping paper left. I still have some jingle bells left. I only used half of the package of the clothespins. The garland, I still have plenty of garland left over. So this project maybe cost $4, and that's me being kind of generous. And then also what I like about this project is that instead of putting something in the center, you can leave that blank and then use that as a magnet. So when you receive those Christmas cards that are just pictures, you can just use a little decorative magnet and put it on there. So I have them all laid out the way that I want them, and I just wanted to show you that you want to make sure that the opening of your clothespin is pointed up. And then I'm adding a generous amount of hot glue right in the middle. This part is important for making it look really finished and kind of store-bought. You want to make sure that you've got all of your clothespins spaced evenly. And that's why I like laying it out like this, to kind of ensure that I'm not putting something too close together and then I get down to the bottom and then I've got a huge gap. So lay it out, spend the time doing that, and then add them on. I do hold down onto the clothespins for a good 15-20 seconds just to ensure that it's sticking to everything. Since I have kind of an uneven surface, I just want to make sure that it's going to adhere well. And so here it is with the garland on and the clips on, and now I'm going to use some ribbon so I can hang this. I showed you 3 different ribbons at the beginning. It was because I was indecisive and I didn't know what I wanted to use. So I'm just going to make a little hook. I'm deciding about how big I want my hanger to be. And now this is important too, because I want to make sure that I'm gluing it on so it hangs straight. Since I spent all that time making sure that all of my clips were on there straight, and then I have the added card in the center, I just want to make sure that when I hang it, it's not going to hang crooked. So I just added a generous amount of hot glue on there. I do use a high temp hot glue gun, and I think it works just fine. If you wanted to add some E6000 and hot glue to add a little bit more security, go for it, but I think this will do just fine. You're not hanging a ton of weight on it, so this should do just fine. And that is it. The longest part of this project is painting the clothespins, and you can by all means spray paint them to save yourself a little bit of time, but here it is. I have it hanging up on my craft room door, and these are some of the cards that I received last year. I think it turned out really, really pretty, and I love that I can take this apart and make it different next year. So, and you can incorporate it into whatever theme you have going on. It's very versatile, and I just think it's a wonderful way to display those Christmas cards that we get every year. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave it a thumbs up. And let me know in the comments below if you'll be doing something like this, and find me on Instagram. The link is in the description bar below. And until next time, bye-bye.